I came to a realization last night while going on a walk. Something deep about love for me. And so, for the last month and a half, 2 months, I've been really striving to love my wife, my kids, and then those outside of our family the way that God calls me to love people. But I found that I didn't want to, and so I've struggled a lot through it. And, that comes because nobody's perfect and nobody can love you the way you want to be loved. And so then I was like, all right, so how can I do this? And, I've been really reading scriptures like 1 Corinthians 13, 4 to 8, where it talks about love. Ephesians 4:31 talks about love. There's different scriptures over and over again that talks about love. In Ephesians 5:25, it gives specific instructions to husbands on how to love their wives. And then in Colossians 3:19 and things like that. And so I've been really fighting and reading and trying to hold on to these things. What I discovered is this. Not only is it difficult to love others when you don't feel like you're receiving the love that you want to, but it also is very difficult when you're physically tired. Like if I'm physically tired, it's so hard to hold on to the teachings, and so in turn so hard to love as God commands me to, right? And so then I also thought of this. The amount of love that I show myself is limited, is nowhere near what the type of love that God calls me to have for others. And so not only are we limited by how people make us feel, physical fatigue, but then also the amount of love we give ourselves. Now, I don't want that to be confused with self-love. I think the culture has become a hot button topic. And self-love, I think, if you look at the concept of it, it sounds great. But I think the way it's being applied is more indulgent into pleasure, self-indulgent, where if, it doesn't help those around you, it's just all about you, basically. And so I don't want it to get confused with that. I think there's probably a balance, and I think the scriptures could probably provide that, but I'm not into the cultural way of what the definition of self-love is being defined. But I do believe that the scriptures gives that it gives you a guidance on how to take care of self. One way is spending time with God daily, and so that's something that I've been doing. But coming to that realization about love, it really helped me to understand something. On my own, I will not be able to love my wife or my kids at the level that they need from me because I am limited by the amount of love that I give myself. And as I grow and hold on to God's word, that level of love will grow. In the meantime, because of my obedience to his word, I will love them as consistently as possible at that level that they need, which surpasses my limits. This cannot be done without holding on to God's word. And so I call you guys, because as the world, a lot of people, millions of people believe love is the way to move forward. But if you look at the scriptures, 1 Corinthians 13, God is love. Love never fails, it says in verse 8 of that chapter. And so we believe that conceptually, but look and aspire to hold to God's level of love, not your own. Because the limit that your level of love might provide you, God's level of love has no limit. And it can help you to go and surpass your limits.